Going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and this should be a pretty fast video, but I feel a very important one. So as we know, I have multiple different types of hardware, whether it's CPU mining here, we got a bunch of ASICs and stuff kicking over here, crap ton more CPUs over here, and then we got some GPUs down there laying on the floor, not really doing anything. So over the years, and depending how much power you do have available to you, you accumulate quite a bit of different ways to mine crypto. The CPUs, the GPUs, the ASICs. Ignore that CPU rig on the floor. It's from over there. I actually had them go down and found out it was a CPU power splitter. I thought I had another one, which we can see right here, but this is a PCI Express for GPUs. The pinout layout is different, so it won't work. So I did order some more, but that's kind of why that is sitting there, and so I can get it back online later on. But the point here is mining diversity. I have power limited. I only have a 100 amp breaker for my entire house. I got two 30 amp 240s going between my whole mining farm, and I've been deciding, what should I turn on now? What can I do to make the most amount of money? Now, some people like to just support blockchains. They don't care if it's profitable or not, and they just mine away, and then the bull run hits, and hopefully they make a lot of money. Other people, well, most of us, I guess, we like to mine for profit, and I've been up in the air. Should I turn on some KS1s, maybe another KS2, maybe turn on the X5? And then I started thinking, I mentioned to you guys all the time, it's about the profit per watt. So I made a spreadsheet, and I kind of put some of my numbers together on some of my rigs here to decide if I should turn on a KS2 or a KS1, if I should turn the X5 on, or something else, because I do have to be very picky on what I mine, and then I just go for straight profitability all the time, and then coins I want to hold, like say I want more Kaspa, and a KS2 isn't worth it, I'll mine with something else that makes more, and then swap that into Kaspa. That way I'm still getting the coins I want, but I'm still doing it all through crypto mining. And as we know, the bear market hits, or hash rate floods a coin, prices go up, prices go down. You never know what's going to be profitable, so you're going to have to stay up to date. So let's take a look at my spreadsheet and decide what should I turn on, what should I turn off, and what things are kind of looking like. All right, so I threw some of my rigs together, and here we can see my power consumption, my revenue. This is all before power, what they're making right now, and then your revenue per watt. So pretty much how this breaks down is example, my X5, it does use about 1,350 watts. Before any power costs, it's making about $9.30. So that means it's making 0.00688 cents per watt of power used. And the simple way to figure it out is if I take this number here, times that by the amount of power, it will give me the exact same revenue. So here, going through some of the stuff I do have online right now and whether I should turn some on or off, I see here that my KS0 Ultra is the most profitable thing that I currently have online. It's only using 100 watts. It's making about $1.09 a day right now before power. That is 0.01. It's making 1 cent, slightly over it, per watt of power that's being utilized. So now to kind of compare that to a KS1 or a KS2 here, which is actually in red here, the worst profitable miners that I have versus the X5, the 3900X, 7950Xs, even the KA box is looking pretty darn good in revenue per watt right now. Now I don't have a KA box 2 to test that out, or the Pro or whatever they call it now, but it should be maybe the same or a little bit better. It is slightly bit less efficient, but it might be making a bit more per watt of power used. So anyway, coming into the KS0 Ultra, you can see it's slightly over 1 cent. If I multiply that by this amount of power, so 1350 for the same amount of power here, if I was to utilize this many KA boxes, so I guess 13 and a half of them, I would actually be making $14.98 versus the $9.30. So I'm making a lot more per watt of power, and obviously that's going to help your power costs and everything in knowing what is your most profitable miners. It's pretty insane that the KS0 Ultra here is actually making more than the KS5L, which is my second place most profitable miner right now per watt of power used. So this is another way to kind of break down your farm and see what's making you the most and what's not making you the most. And we can see here that these two early generation 1 Kaspa miners are actually the least profitable miners right now based on everything. Now you guys may be asking, how did I get these numbers and revenues, and where's the profit calculator and things like that? So when it does come to the ASICs, I jump into mining now here. For example, we're just going to put in a KS2. I'm going to click on that and we can see income outcome here is $5.64. We do know it uses about 1200 watts of power. I'm going to try undervolting that and trying to get it very, very efficient even more, drop some clocks, and maybe I can bring that up to make it be worthwhile turning on. But I haven't tried that yet, but it is something I do want to try here over the next couple days. But we can see it's using 1200 watts here, and it's making about $5.51. So you divide those together, and that will give you the numbers that I'm showing you kind of right here. So other things to do for, say, GPUs and CPUs and ASICs like the X5, for an example, I have my spreadsheet right here, which you can see. It is very active. You know, you're going to have time to be able to calculate this, maybe update it every couple days to stay on top of network hash rates, crypto prices, and so on. So it is a lot of work to actually determine this. There is no set and forget. It doesn't matter what you're mining on right now. You can't really set it and forget it unless it's an ASIC dedicated for that one algorithm. Kaspa actually even has 3 coins that you can mine on it. So, you know, there's also that option between other coins for that as well. And then you sell them and buy Kaspa if something like Cedric coin is making more. But here we can see, like, Cell, for an example, the X5 is currently making that $9.52 based on the network hash rate because it's about 212 kilohash. The other coins I come in here, Expector, for example, we have 18 kilohash for a 3900X. That's currently only at 61. A 7950X here is about 31 kilohash. If I adjust that, we can see now we're at about $1.05. That's about where my spreadsheet is showing everything right now. I have it at $1.06. Things might have changed since I just updated my spreadsheet and stuff, but that's kind of how I get these numbers and dictate on what equipment should I come on. At that point, I'm trying to maximize how much I make per watt of power that I use, and then I just swap that into other coins and, you know, hodl Kaspa or hodl RTM or hodl any other coin that I do want to get a bag of. But make sure I'm trying to mine the most profitable thing on the most profitable piece of equipment that I do have. All right, guys, so that pretty much does wrap up this video. What do you think? That's just another way to look at kind of a way to see what's the most profitable on your mining farm. Now, there's lots of other factors that key into it. As we saw there, if you run the numbers, the KA box for Kaspa is actually a very profitable miner per watt of power being used based on things that I have. Sure, there's a lot of better ones out there, but there's also prices to consider where gold shells are fairly expensive for what you get out of them, and they are less efficient than some of the other miners, but they're actually making quite a bit for the power that they're using. So there's a lot of other factors that will come into this. You know, maybe I should update that with current prices of the miners as well, and then we can look at the price per watt of power on top of revenue, and then that'll add another key thing into what to look for when purchasing hardware. But at the end of the day, I feel as a crypto miner, there's no go-to anymore. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of CPU mining content lately, but that's because that's where all the profit has been. GPUs have not been making us anything compared to what CPUs have. They've been, for the past 2 years or so, I guess, CPUs have been over 40 times more profitable than a single 3070 and stuff versus a 3900X. So it's pretty crazy here. That's why I do recommend people to get versatile in your mining farms. You know, get a couple CPUs, get a couple GPUs, maybe try a couple small home mining ASICs or something. Just have a little bit of everything. That way you don't have to worry about prices and hash rates all the time. You can kind of just look around, point something to here, point something to there, or obviously if you only have one CPU, one GPU, one ASIC, you can just run them all 24/7 and not really have to worry about going bankrupt at the power bills and worry about how much power you're using and so on. But when you start getting to a certain level and size and stuff and using quite a bit of power, that power bill does add up, and you're gonna want to try to maintain that profitability. Anyway, guys, hopefully this video did help you out in any way. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.